Born on April 17, 1915, Eleanor Fagin spent most of her time battling abuse, addiction, and racial prejudice until her untimely death at age 44. Her father, a jazz musician, abandoned the family when she was a young girl. She was often left in the care of abusive relatives while her mother was working. At age 10, she was raped and sent to a reformatory for allegedly seducing her attacker. Shortly after her release, she turned to prostitution and was arrested when she was just a teen. During this time, she became acquainted with jazz, listening to it on the brothel's phonograph. In her difficult early life, Holiday found solace in music, singing along to the records of Bessie Smith and Louis Armstrong. She followed her mother, who had moved to New York City in the late 1920s and worked in a house of prostitution in Harlem for a time. Around 1930, Billie Holiday began singing in local clubs and renamed herself Billie after the film star Billy Dove and her father's surname. At the age of 18, Holiday was discovered by producer John Hammond while she was performing in a Harlem jazz club. Striking out on her own, Holiday performed at New York's Cafe Society. She developed some of her trademark stage persona there, wearing gardenias in her hair and singing with her head tilted back. Over the years, Holiday sang many songs of stormy relationships, including It Ain't Nobody's Business If I Do and My Man. These songs reflected her personal romances, which were often destructive and abusive. She married James Monroe in 1941. Already known to drink, Holiday picks up her new husband's habit of smoking opium. The marriage didn't last, but Holiday's problems with her substance abuse continued. They later divorced. This was the start of the downward spiral of Billie's life. In 1944, she released her hit single, God Bless the Child. Her boyfriend at the time was trumpeter Joe Guy, and with him she started using heroin. After the death of her mother in October 1945, Holiday began drinking more heavily and escalated her drug use to ease her grief. Despite her own personal problems, Billie remains a major star in the jazz world and even in popular music as well. She appeared with her idol Louis Armstrong in the 1947 film New Orleans. Unfortunately, Holiday's drug use caused her a great professional setback that same year. She was arrested and convicted for narcotics possession in 1947. Sentenced to 1 year and 1 day of jail time, Holiday went to a federal rehabilitation center in Alston, Western Virginia. Released the following year, Holiday faced new challenges. Because of her conviction, she was unable to get the necessary license to play in cabarets and clubs. However, Holiday could still perform at concert halls and had a sold-out show at the Carnegie Hall not long after her release. While her hard life was taking a toll on her voice, Holiday continued to tour and record into the 1950s. Holiday also caught the public's attention by sharing her life story with the world in 1956 through her autobiography, Lady Sings the Blues. Around this time, Holiday became involved with Louis McKay. The two were arrested for narcotics in 1956, and they married in Mexico the following year. Like many other men in her life, McKay used Holiday's name and money to advance himself. She gave her final performance in New York City on May 25, 1959. Not long after this event, Holiday was admitted to the hospital for her heart and liver problems. She was so addicted to heroin that even was arrested for possession while in the hospital. On July 17, 1959, Holiday died from alcohol and drug-related complications. More than 3,000 people turned to say goodbye to Lady Day at her funeral held in St. Paul, the Apostle Roman Catholic Church, in 1959 on July 21st. Considered one of the best jazz vocalists of all time, Holiday has been an influence on many other performers who have followed her footsteps. Her autobiography was made into the 1927 film Lady Sings the Blues with famed singer Diana Ross playing the part of Holiday, which helped renew interest in Holiday's recordings. In 2000, Billie Holiday was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Diana Ross handling the honors.